Sup, y'all? It's me. It's your boy, Asmongold, and as a lot of you guys know, Blizzcon started today. Well, I guess for you guys yesterday, but regardless, a ton of new shit came out regarding Legion, and I want to talk to you guys about it. Now, I'm obviously not going to be going over every single little thing, but I'm going to talk to you guys about what I think you need to know, what I think you want to know, and also some things that were said that bear a little bit of a discussion. Now, I wasn't really expecting, and I don't think anybody was, Blizzard to announce a new expansion this year. But honestly, guys, with the amount of content that they're announcing for Legion, they might as well have, because it's a lot of new stuff. Now, basically what they did is they kind of, announced their patch plan for the entire expansion, at least thus far. So they talked about 3 new patches, patch 7.1.5, which is going to be like a medium patch, kind of like, I think they compared it to 6.2.3, which is like Mythic dungeons and WoD, Valor points, and the Moose mounts, and then 7.2, which is going to be the Tomb of Sargeras, which is fucking awesome, and then after that, we're going to be taking the fight to the Burning Crusades, not the Burning Crusade, the Burning Legion's homeworld, Aegis, and probably 7.3, and so that's very, very exciting. Lots of huge possibilities there, and I know many people have wanted to go there anyway, and it makes me very, very excited, because I always did like kind of the Draenei, space, the whole thing involving that. So I'm very, very excited regarding that. So I'm going to go ahead and start at 7.1, and we're going to kind of go through the whole thing. Now, I do want to say one thing before I actually begin this, is that a lot of people were not happy about some of the things that they said, especially regarding, they're making like a Lower Karazhan and everything. I'm not really happy about that either, but overall, guys, I would say these are a lot of steps in the right direction, right? So maybe I don't agree with every single little thing, but I'm very, very happy regarding, I guess, like the overall content in this. And so even though there were some things I disagreed with, I am very, very glad about pretty much everything as a whole. So I do want to say that because, some people are going to be like, oh, they said this, that, or one thing, and you're not talking about that. I'm going to talk about that, but I'm going to save that until the end, basically. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and start at patch 7.1.5. Now, patch 7.1.5 is going to be, again, they compared it a lot to 6.2.3, and so it's going to be kind of a minor patch where they're kind of adding in content to more or less incentivize older content or content that was in the game. They're adding in Mists of Pandaria time walking. They're adding back in the Brawlers Guild with, you're going to get that Basilisk mount. The Basilisk mount that was supposed to come out in 7.1, that's coming out in the Brawlers Guild, and also a bunch of new shirts, which is awesome, I guess. Actually, it looks like I need to get a new shirt too, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I always did like the Brawlers Guild. Also, there's going to be like these bosses in the Brawlers Guild that pull everybody into the arena. It's just like kind of like an impromptu boss, it seems. It's called like a Rumble or something. I think that sounds really cool. I don't really know how it's going to go for the people that just AFK through half of it, but while they're waiting for their turn to come up, but I don't really know how that's going to go. Also, guys, they're going to be doing mini holidays, okay? And I think that this is going to be very similar to how they have like the Day of the Dead, where it's only like for a few days, and it's this cool little thing that happens once a year. And so once they add enough of these in there, they're always happening, and it kind of keeps things fresh. It kind of feels like, whenever you log in, even if it's not some kind of new content patch, it might be some new, it's like Hollow's End or Winter's Veil or something like that, and it just makes things a little bit more alive, I guess, and that makes sense. So a few of the ones that they use, for an example, is the, what's it called, the AQ Remembrance Day or something like that, which sounded like just like Pearl Harbor or something. But basically what it is it's going to be everybody goes back over to Silthius, and it's kind of a day to remember the gates of AQ opening, and you collect things for your faction, and I guess who collects the most stuff has a flag or something like that in Silthius for the rest of the year or something. It's really, really cool. I think it's awesome, and it's not really surprising to me that after Ian became game director that this happened, because I think he's actually like a Scarab Lord in game. So that's really, really awesome. I'm really glad to see that. The mini holidays and getting people out into the world and utilizing the entire world of Warcraft, I think has been something that they've done very, very little of, and they're starting to do more of in Legion, and I think it's really, really awesome. So another one is where you pretend to be a guard in the city and you defend the city from like NPCs or something like that. I think that's like, it's just goofy and weird. Another one where you collect a hippogriff and you just have it fly around with you. It's like Pepe or something. And then the big one is going to be Boat Day. I don't know what Boat Day is. I have no idea what Boat Day is, but I can't see it being anything more than not a disappointment. I have no idea what it's going to be, but it just the name of it sounds like really, really funny. So anyway, on top of that, of course, they're going to be doing a bunch of new talent redesigns. They said like basically the talents that everybody uses, they're going to try and redesign that talent tree, so there's a little bit more of a field of choice, so it's not just a cookie cutter. In a way, I feel like this is kind of a fool's errand, and no matter what, there's always going to be a best. There's always going to be the thing that everybody always picks, but, it's good to see them at least trying, and of course, they're going to be adding in, hunter traps. I forgot. Hunters are going to be getting traps back, which is really cool. It's like, whenever I'm like a hunter, like at the beginning of the game, it's like you would have the blue square, you give the blue square to mobs, and like Burning Crusade, whenever you do the heroics, and the blue square meant that you would trap a mob, and that's what hunters did. And in Legion, like, taking that away, it didn't really feel right. So I'm really glad that they're going to be bringing that back in 7.1.5, along with a couple of other things, like rogues are going to be getting Shroud of Concealments, which is the thing that's like the AoE stealth mechanic, and also there's going to be some new catch-up mechanisms. One of the big ones there is going to be, obviously, artifact knowledge is one of the big ways that people can kind of get behind and feel like they can't catch up, and so you're going to be able to automatically go up to artifact knowledge 10 if you are able to spend enough order hall resources, so there's probably not going to be any sort of like a real cooldown on that. Now, 7.2 is obviously the big deal, right? 7.2 is we're going to be going to the Tomb of Sargeras and kind of, like what happened in the Broken Shore, it's like the Alliance and the Horde are probably going to be coming together to fight back the Burning Legion, and then I'm assuming, because after that we go to Argus, we beat them back from the Tomb of Sargeras, and then we fight them, and we take the fight over to Argus. So the last boss in the Tomb of Sargeras is going to actually not be Sargeras, it's going to be Kil'Jaeden, and you get to actually see his feet too, and so that's awesome. The new model looks really, really cool, but honestly, guys, what's even like way cooler than that is that one of the bosses that you get to fight in the Tomb of Sargeras is a fallen avatar of Sargeras. Now, I don't really think that there's been any point in the game besides the Warcraft Chronicle where Sargeras has ever been depicted in any of the lore in the game at all as like visually besides the Warcraft Chronicle, and so seeing this avatar of Sargeras is the first time we've ever seen Sargeras in game at all, I think, besides I think those eyes and like the Warcraft 3 cutscene or something like that. So it's really, really awesome. I'm very, very excited to see that. I was hoping that the fallen avatar of Sargeras would be like the hidden end boss, like Rawdin or something like that, and you kill the hidden avatar of Sargeras if you like clear it on Mythic or something, but that's obviously not what's going to happen. But regardless, I'm very, very excited. It's going to be very, very cool. The way that I saw them kind of showing the boss progression, because like the first bosses are like Nagas, and like there's like a model of like a Sea Witch, which is like a Lady Vash, and a number of other mobs like Infernals. It reminded me a lot of Black Temple, so that's a good thing. Black Temple is awesome. So I'm definitely really looking forward to that. On top of that, they're also going to be adding in Legion invasions all around the Broken Isles. So whenever they did the pre-event, the pre-expansion event for Legion, I said, this is fucking awesome, right? And that's what everybody said. Why don't they do this throughout the entire expansion? It felt almost criminal that they would make this amazing, awesome event and then only implement it for one little period in the game. So I'm very glad that they're going to be adding these Legion invasions back to the the Broken Isles, and in each zone, I think that there's going to be like a different type of invasion. So like in Heimal, it's going to be a little bit different than in Azuna, and after you complete all of that, you can't do your world quests in the area at the time, but I guess like the objectives that you complete while the invasion is occurring, I think those count towards your emissary quest, so it's not like you're going to just be shit out of luck if you log on whenever there's an invasion going on. But I think that's really, really cool. I'm very, very happy to see that and see that return. Hopefully they will build on that and just kind of make more of these different invasion events all throughout Legion, and maybe past that, I don't really know how that would make a whole lot of sense, so we'll see after we go to Argus. Though also a lot of people they said that you're going to be able to build a base at the Broken Isles and you're going to be able to customize this base, and people's like PTSD, like WAD PTSD is coming out. They're like, oh my god, not garrisons again. But that's not what they're going to be doing. It's not going to be garrisons again. Don't worry about it. It's not like people go ape shit. You guys know people go ape shit about like one word or something, but that's not what it's going to be. It's going to be a lot like, probably, does my hair look stupid? Oh, it always does. Okay. But anyway, it's going to be a lot like the Isle of Quel'Danis, or maybe a little bit like the Molten Front, where I don't think that you're actually building the base yourself, but you're building it kind of collectively with your server, which is going to be really cool. I think that was awesome in the Isle of Quel'Danis, and also I really, really enjoyed the Molten Front dailies. So seeing them add that back is obviously very exciting for me. And they're also going to be adding in a new dungeon, the Cathedral of Eternal Night, and it's going to have normal, heroic, and mythic plus difficulties. That's cool. It's always good to see them adding new dungeons throughout the entire expansion, and also along with that, they're going to be retuning all of the heroic and the mythic level dungeons, and I think that's a very, very good idea. A lot of people, I feel, this has been a theme that's been going on a lot, where difficulty in dungeons has been very much tied to some sort of timed events. And so whenever they're going to be doing that, I'm assuming that they're going to make the dungeons harder and make them give better loot. And that's obviously something that's great. Mythic Plus will obviously be better still, but I think that giving some sort of hard mode for a dungeon without having it necessarily be tied to a time limit is going to be rewarding for a lot of people who don't necessarily want to sit down there and devote 30 minutes of intensive gameplay into one different thing where they can take breaks like for 5 minutes here and there. So I think that's really, really cool. The only thing I really do disagree with is they are going to be adding a heroic version to Karazhan, and they're going to be splitting up into two parts. There's going to be Upper Karazhan and Lower Karazhan, and each part is going to be a Mythic Plus dungeon. I can see why they're doing that in a way. I'm assuming that probably by the time 7.2 comes out, Karazhan loot is going to be little, even with these changes and retuning them, I'm going to assume that Karazhan loot is probably not going to be very good, so it's going to be pretty hard to find a group for it. So it kind of makes sense for them to want to make it into a queuable dungeon, but obviously, I've never really been a fan of queuable content. I just don't really think it's good for the game, basically. And they're also going to be doing that for Court of Stars and Archway, which I kind of feel the same way about. It's obviously a little bit disappointing, but at that point, I mean, like, if you haven't seen it by then, you're probably not going to, so it's basically whatever. As long as, like, there's a lot of other good content and some things that do make people feel unique and, special, I guess, that's important. That's important, guys. Even if you don't think it's important for a lot of people. I'm not really going to be too upset about it. But, for the most part, they did that for, the Court of Stars and Archway thing, with it being Mythic only for the most of the expansion, probably. So, we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how it goes in 7.2. We don't really know. Also, in 7.2, flying comes back, so that's cool. I always thought that the Draenor Pathfinder was like the ideal middle ground and solution to dealing with flying, and so Legion Pathfinder Part 2 is going to be coming out in 7.2, where I'm assuming you have to go through the new reputation that's coming out that's regarded, or it's related to the Broken Shore and like building that base and everything. And so after you get all that stuff together, you're going to be able to fly. So that's awesome. And along with coming with being able to fly, all classes are going to be getting their own special class mount. Now, I didn't really know what to think about this. I looked at mine and it looked like a retarded proto-drake. Okay, it looked like a retarded proto-drake. But it's okay. It's okay. It still looks cool. I'll still be glad to get it. The Death Knight one looks fucking awesome. The Rogue one is like this raven, and the Paladin one is, of course, another shiny horse. So I'm pretty happy about that for the most part. And you get that Class Order Hall. I guess it's a Class Order Hall mount because you get it through completing the rest of your Class Order Hall campaign, which is really, really cool. I'm glad about that. Now, I've been doing a lot of PvP in Legion, and I don't really know why. I think it's like I just like the idea of leveling up my honor levels and like the prestiging and everything. And so it was really cool to see that they're going to be adding PvP brawls into WoW. Now, whenever you hear that, I want you to kind of, think of the brawls that they have in Overwatch, where it's just like basically just bullshit rules, anything goes, play for fun. And some of the examples that they used are actually really, really cool. One of them is they're going to be adding back the Terran Mill versus South Shore scenario, or the Battleground, the 40v40, and they're not going to be having these all the time. They're kind of like bonus events, probably like every week or something, kind of like they have the dungeon events and the pet battle event, kind of like that, I'm assuming. And another one is they're going to be doing a Winter Alterac Valley. They already have that. Winter Arathi Basin, where I don't think you can go to Lumbermill, and your vision is like very, very obscured, so you can only see like very close in front of you. So I think that's going to be really cool just to see how people are going to sneak up on each other and just kind of making things that are already part of the old game new again in different ways and making them still exciting for newer players and also older players. I'm actually really excited for the PvP brawls. I feel like kind of an idiot saying this, but I'm honestly like probably more excited for those than almost anything else in the entire presentation. So anyway, guys, that's most of the content that they talked about. Now, another thing is that I forgot to say this, is that they are going to be increasing the artifact knowledge level at that point, and also there's going to be these different quest lines that you can do for your class. They're trying to emulate the Green Fire quest line for Warlocks back in Mists of Pandaria, where you kind of have to learn how to play your class very well in order to complete them, and in completing them you will gain a new artifact appearance. The warriors get the flail one, and the other classes get cares, right? I get the flail. I'm happy. So I'll show you guys on the screen as you guys can see. But anyway, that's pretty much what they announced today. There are, of course, a couple of things I forgot. I wrote a lot of things down here, but I think that's pretty much, yeah, it's pretty much all that's like really worth talking about. So I'm really glad to see that they're really trying to put a lot of content into this expansion. And, you know, even with like the things like making everything heroic and queuable, right? Like there's going to be so much shit in this game, I'm probably not even going to notice that, because it just seems like they're really trying to make a good expansion. They're not trying to make the next expansion. They're trying to make a good expansion now. And that makes me really, really, I guess, like confident in that. And I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. So you guys know that I'll be letting you guys know every step of the way. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I definitely did enjoy seeing it and everything. So if I forgot anything, you guys have any comments, go ahead and let me know. But if not, thank you for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe.